remember to speak into your mics, okay, guys?
I shall try.
You guys always like kind of far. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Sisters Talk Chisme. And we have been gone for a little bit because we've been on vacation. We've been taking some time off. So we've been gone for about 2-ish weeks, which apologize about that, but we are back. So as you can tell a little bit by us, we are in uniform, I guess you could say.
Yep.
I'm on the
But
job.
I'm on the job. Well, anyway, today I am your host and I am Disgust. And with me I have...
Fear and anxiety.
Yay! And we also have Sadness here joining us. So obviously, if you couldn't already tell, we are dressed as the characters from Inside Out 2. So it just came out, and some of this podcast today will be somewhere around the topics of it a little bit. But yeah, so we can go ahead and get started. I am going to take these glasses off though because I can only see green, and yeah, it's kind of bothering me a little bit. So I'll take those off.
Do you want to tell them about spoilers?
Oh, yes. Spoilers, by the way. People who are watching who have not seen Inside Out yet, if you do not want any spoilers, please log off of this right now because we will be saying some spoilers about the movie. If you don't care and you don't mind, hey, by all means, keep watching. We will give you spoilers. So just fair warning. This is your warning right now. There will be spoilers here.
Here and there.
So I guess to start out, I guess my real question is, what are your thoughts on the... Oh, because we watched it this weekend. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on the movie?
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was nice. I did cry throughout the movie. Maybe it's because I'm just very emotional, but yeah, it was embarrassing because honestly, even though it's been out for a while, the movie theater was pretty full.
Yeah.
Like it was
really
pretty full.
full.
Usually it's not because it's been like what, maybe
Like a week.
I think it's been 2 weeks already.
2-ish weeks. I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even we went in the morning and it was packed still, and I was
Oh, yeah.
surprised.
Yeah, it was pretty packed. What about you, Kelly? What are your thoughts?
I really liked the movie. It like showed what most of us are going through in a way,
Yeah.
and like especially what we went through. Especially if like our audience is like older and they like been through it. Like, when Riley was having an anxiety attack, and it's like, wow, that part made me kind of cry because I'm like, dang.
Yeah, it was a very emotional movie, which I had heard already that it was pretty emotional, but I think you're right. I think that what really got to me was that anxiety attack, and I think it's just because obviously like once you've gone through it, you kind of know, and I think there was a lot of meaning behind the movie that I feel like sometimes, I mean, obviously it's a kids movie, but maybe it's a movie for kids to grow into, you know,
Right.
and to understand what all that is, but yeah, it's
I feel like it's more like instead of for little kids, I honestly think it's more headed for teenagers because I mean Riley is a teen,
That's true.
And then when the
So,
movie came out,
yeah.
like she was a kid.
right?
So-
And they're barely finding out how to control their basic emotions.
Yeah.
But as you get older, you get these more complex emotions,
Yeah.
and I really thought it was more catered towards like teenagers and older people too.
Yeah.
Just because back they're in like the older generation don't really know how to like label the feelings that they're feeling right now.
Yeah.
And I know throughout during the movie, especially the scene of when they went into the imagination land and all that,
yeah.
that's the part that I was crying in.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it finally clicked. Like, oh, what exactly anxiety is. I'm like, it's hard to explain sometimes. Sometimes you can't even feel it. But when you see that certain scene, it clicks. For me, it clicked. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
exactly what's happening. That's exactly what it is. And like me and this other dude that was in front of me, he was a dad too. We were both tearing up. I saw him wiping as a period, sir. Me too. And, like, it was really.
Yeah. I think, and that's another point that I made that I told them, but I saw it on a video. Someone commented that a lot of people are labeling anxiety as a villain. And I understand that Disney movies, it's like, there doesn't always have to be a villain, right? And I actually agree with that comment where she said that anxiety isn't actually a villain. It's just a normal emotion that happens, and that honestly we need anxiety, because if it isn't for anxiety, we wouldn't be, kind of like what Kelly said, we wouldn't be prepared for
The future or whatever, because like if you watch the movie, she says fear helps Riley see things that's scary, but I help her like I help her fear for the future, like prepare for the future. Yeah.
No,
Oh,
things that you can.
I fear protects her from things she can see. Anxiety, her, helps Riley with things she can't see.
Yeah.
So basically, like again with your imagination, using your imagination against you, that whole cycle of
Yeah.
oh, that's what she's working with, basically.
Yeah.
I think it is also a lot of like what people think, because I think Riley cared a lot about what people thought of her, especially on the
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
And I think that's what anxiety obviously is. Like, you have this fear of what people are going to say, what's going to happen, and what's to come. Like, what are the consequences? It's kind of like what the comment said. Like, anxiety is like, what are the consequences of like not going into work? Like, oh my gosh, I didn't go to work. Like, what will happen if I don't go to work? That's anxiety. Like, we kind of have to live with that. And it's just learning how to control those emotions and not let it overcome you. And kind of like how they mentioned a phrase in the movie is bottling up your emotions, because anxiety does that. And it's to not let anxiety take control over that and bottle up your emotions that you need, like sadness, anger,
Joy, fear.
joy, fear, disgust. I mean, to not bottle those up.
I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like anxiety is kind of a form of common sense, but people take it overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like common sense is like, oh, I mean that you would think that's common sense. Like you think of the outcome as like, and you apply like an educational guess of, hey, that's your logic. It makes sense to do it this way. But anxiety takes it overboard
Yeah.
to the point where it like, you start overthinking and to the point you get past reality and it's just like taking control of it.
Yeah, you overthink. You overthink. And honestly, like, this whole podcast obviously isn't all about the movie, but something that kind of ties in with it, I think, is what I talked to one of my coworkers about it, so she gave me a really good idea to talk about it on the podcast. But basically, with anxiety, there's also different forms of anxiety. It's not just one anxiety. Obviously, Inside Out did the basics, because obviously, it's a kids movie. It's just putting it out there because
Also, Riley's barely a teenager. She's barely getting that anxiety.
Yeah.
exactly. And also, it's kind of a taboo topic a little bit. It's not something that a lot of people talk about. Anxiety, depression, mental health, none of that stuff people talk about. But it's social anxiety, and what it causes, what it is, how it affects your life and your mental health. And the reason I bring up social anxiety is because I think one of us suffers from social anxiety big time. And I just really wanted, maybe there are people out there who like really like relate to that, and like what is that? What, just like social anxiety. Because I know everybody has a little bit of social anxiety, but obviously social anxiety, different from anxiety, is that you have anxiety with socializing with people, or like you would say interactions in general. So society, social.
Social.
Hi, I'm her. I have social anxiety. Well, that I 100% want to talk about this is because when I tell people that I am anxious to socialize and I have social anxiety, they always come up with a why. Why? You're just being in amongst the people. Why? Why? Like, what's so much of the worry and all that? So for me, what goes over in my head is basically anxiety is taking over. There's so many scenarios going on in my head. Like, oh, what happens if like, the simplest, what if I trip? What if I fall? People are going to see me. Not even that, like sitting down. What if like I tend to space out a lot. So what if I space out, they say something, everyone starts moving. Where am I going to go? Who am I going to ask? Like all these things are happening. And the problem is during big social events sometimes, like when I am not sure of what I can control, that's what's scary to me. At the time, I'm just like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm always worried, especially when I'm doing things by myself. It is like, I don't like it. Like, it's something new. And I know I'm always saying, like, I like to do new adventures and all that. No, as long as it's, like, planned. It's like, I know it's embarrassing. I might get a little teary right now, but it's like, kind of like in the movie when Joy tries to tell anxiety, hey, don't worry about what you can't control, worry about what you can control. And I'm getting so emotional about it. It's like, oh, I'm so sad. Whew. Like, I'm trying. I don't no. Okay.
I mean, and it's a real thing. Like, people actually go through that. It's hard to go into go. I mean, when you have social anxiety, it's hard to overcome that from one day to another, and to be asked to do things in bigger settings when you know that you have social anxiety, it's obviously like really hard. So I understand, like, Michelle has gone through this a lot, and like, don't get. I talked to this about with my coworker, and it's obviously not to put anything out of Michelle's things, but like, obviously we worry for her because we are her family members, and like, it's hard to see her go through it, but we get sometimes a little frustrated because we're like, it's okay, like it's not like what people obviously, and it's kind of like what I said about Riley earlier, is that Riley is the only one, or you in general, I mean, I use Riley, but us in general, like, we're the only ones that can control our own emotions. Like, it's kind of like what they said at the end, like, we don't make Riley makes herself with her she chooses what she wants to, like, kind of like when she chose joy, like, it's kind of like when you choose to be happy in this moment. I choose to be happy, even though maybe it's not the right emotion, but like, I choose it.
Right.
And
And I do, like, I've been working on it, obviously, to some tricks that I saw is like your senses, like 5 senses, go back to that, like, do like, oh, what can you see? What can you smell? Ground yourself, basically. Because when you're having like the whole anxiety attack, I felt that. And I'm just like, oh, okay, like you lose control. You're trying to control your breathing. You're trying to control everything. And it's like hard. You need to distract yourself from what you think is making that anxiety happen. Sometimes you don't know exactly what's triggering it, but something triggered it, and it snowballs from there. And I do want people to know that I have social anxiety, because a lot of people often say that I don't want to hang out with people, and they say like, oh, you just, like, you're like a little loner, you don't want to do this. There's a reason. It's not because I don't like you. It's not because I don't want to hang out. It's just like, one, my social battery runs out completely fast, and then people are always like they're always talking bad about me. Like, believe it or not, they do. They're always like, oh, why don't you want to hang out? I have social anxiety. Like, it's really, really bad.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking to my coworker about. Like, I think that people need to understand that I feel like people are a little selfish sometimes when they ask you to hang out with somebody. And when that person says no, or when that person is like, I'm sorry, I just can't do it today. Or they like, I feel like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you're being a little selfish about yourself because you don't think about the other person. Like, what if that other person is tired, or like, what if that person just doesn't really want to go out that day? Or kind of like with Michelle, like, obviously those people who like say things about you and say that you don't want to go out, they don't know that you have social anxiety. They don't know how hard it is for you to just even go out, right? And have a talk with somebody, even just like hang out, do something.
Oh, and also, I'm not self-diagnosed of this, because I know a lot of people self-diagnose themselves a lot. Actually, just to confirm, because I'm not lying, I went to the doctor and they diagnosed me with anxiety, and I'm just like, great. So, there's like an actual, I'm not faking it, like, I'm not that everybody else is faking it out there. I know it's kind of hard to go to the doctor. I mean, it took me years to go to the doctor just for this. And I actually didn't even go for this. I went for other stuff, and then they told me, did a whole evaluation, and it comes out that along with other stuff, I have anxiety. So, and sometimes you're in denial. Like, you're like, oh, maybe it's not that, maybe it is, it isn't. And it's hard, but, and they did, try to get me meds to calm down, because I can't sleep at night. Kind of like Riley, as you can tell, if you watch in the movie, she can't sleep because anxiety is taking over. And that's when I cried in that moment, because I realized that's why I can't sleep, because all these things are going in my head that can't stop. It's like, late at night, you have those random thoughts of like, you're trying to sleep, and all of a sudden, like, the embarrassing moment happens, and you're just like, why did I do that? That happened so long ago.
And you overthink it.
Yeah. And it's usually when it's something like big that you have to do the next day, or something's coming up. Like, kind of like Riley when she had the big game coming up. Obviously, she had all those thoughts because there's like kind of an important day coming up. And kind of like you, sometimes when you have to do something the next day, I feel like you overthink it a lot.
I do a lot.
And anxiety kicks in.
And the thing is that for me, believe it or not, and it's so simple, the thing that worries me the most is that in social, like in public places, I start sweating big time. I'll give you an example, okay? We went to, when was it, last year? KCON?
Yeah.
I ruined that experience for Daniela a little bit.
But it's fine.
I tried to control myself afterwards, but at KCON, we were like in the middle of where like the logo says KCON, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I started having like a little anxiety attack at the time. And
Yeah.
actually, no, it was a full blown anxiety attack.
Yeah.
I was crying. I was sweating. I was crying because I was sweating. And I ruined it for Daniela. That whole moment I did. And then she did. Daniela got mad at me. She's like, Kelly should have came, not you. Like, seriously. I'm like, you know
I
what?
know, and I feel bad, but like in like it's kind of like what I said, like it's like when you're so frustrated, like you keep like trying to reassure her, you keep trying to say like it's fine, Michelle. Nobody's even looking at you. Nobody's even staring at you. Like it's because sometimes it does. I feel like Michelle does kind of feel like that. Like all eyes are on her. Like people are gonna judge her. Like people are gonna see her that she's sweating. That's why she was complaining. We were
Yeah.
at KCON. I don't even know how this started, but Michelle was just sweating. I'm like, Michelle, why are you sweating so much? Calm down. And she's like, I don't know. She's like, it's so hot in here. She's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm not gonna lie, I think it was because there was a lot of people there. Obviously, if you've been to KCON, the convention, it was tons of people. And Michelle was like,
Yeah.
I think she was freaking out. And it was kind of getting me a little mad because I was trying to enjoy it, and like having to deal with Michelle is like Michelle, like it's fine. Nobody's staring at you. I literally kept telling her, I'm like, Michelle, nobody's staring at you. You're fine.
Yeah.
Stop sweating. And I'm like, Michelle, you can control how much you sweat. Please just stop sweating.
I know, but then the thought of me is like, oh
And
no,
then
I'm
the thought of her
sweating.
sweating made her sweat even more. And I'm like, Michelle,
Yeah.
please stop.
But I feel like the older you get, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to control it.
Yeah.
I think it's a learning curve when you. I feel like it's kind of like in the movie too. Like we relate a lot to the movie, right? This
Yeah.
is a lot about it. Like when the adults, you know how anxiety kind of just popped out a little bit, but
Oh, yeah.
I mean, anxiety technically is always behind those curtains.
Oh yeah,
They're just waiting
yeah.
there.
They always try to suppress that emotion, and it can come out sometimes, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the other ones know how to be like, "Hey, it's okay, anxiety, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
just chill in the back."
Like
you're
when
good.
No, like the
anxiety. Oh, for I
When
was
the
thinking
dad
of
came
mom.
out?
Yeah.
Oh, the mom too.
Oh, both, yeah,
Yeah.
they both
'Cause
came out. Yeah,
When the dad came out, they were just like, oh, yep, that's okay. Back to the game. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Yeah,
just
then the anxiety
brush
calms
it
down,
off.
and then
Yeah.
mom literally you can see us in sadness because you know how sadness takes over mom.
Yeah.
And sadness like welcome back anxiety and gives her a cup of tea.
Yes.
Yeah.
to
Yes.
calm down. She's over there drinking the tea.
yeah.
Well, because, like, I don't know if you saw the movie, the layout, there's like a door and all the new and like old emotions are
emotions.
there.
Mhm.
Like,
Nostalgia.
nostalgia. I love her.
I love
She be coming
it.
out already.
I'm like, yeah.
And it makes sense though. People are saying like, "Why is she popping out?" And it does make sense.
I said it.
You
I
said, say what you
it.
said.
I was like, hey, you know what's funny? That I think they did it on purpose. That nostalgia will come out every once in a while because as you get older, you start to think about things that happened, like maybe when you were little, and you're like, oh, that's so nostalgic, you know. But like, obviously, we're not old enough. Like, we shouldn't be old enough to have it, right? But she'll pop out sometimes because it's like, oh wait, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like us when you think about like high school. I'm like, oh, that's so nostalgic. Oh, she's coming out right now, and she's gonna go back in.
yeah.
She's not ready yet.
Oh no, she is like almost fully coming out for me.
Like some emotions, like, okay, go back in there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, it does come out, and I think they did that on purpose, obviously, because like I gotta tell you that, like, just nostalgia came out like that.
No, for real.
Like, hey, she
She was
became
my favorite. I was
because
like,
you're growing, and that's the whole point of Inside Out is like growing to learn how to control your emotions and figure them out, essentially.
Yep, big time.
But yeah, I think that was something that I really wanted to talk about, social anxiety and really just anything, anxiety in general. And I think we all kind of deal with anxiety in different ways because everybody has anxiety. I'm not saying that I'm sure anybody watching right now has anxiety, whether you want to believe it or not. You may not have to be diagnosed, but trust me, you have it in there somewhere. Michelle's is obviously social anxiety. I have more of like a pretty, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've been diagnosed with anxiety, but not a specific anxiety.
Not as bad as me.
I mean, I was diagnosed, but like that was like back when I was in college. So I actually did take meds for it, but I was just weak, I guess. I don't know what happened. I stopped taking
Oh no,
them.
the doctor really emphasized like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah,
I
yeah."
didn't know. I was kind of younger at the time that I was like, I didn't know what nobody knew what anxiety was, right? But anyway, I have like I know how to suppress it a little bit. Not gonna lie, sometimes I do have like anxiety attacks and like breakdowns a lot of the time, but it's fine.
I mean, my doctor didn't talk about anxiety. He talked about depression, and I was like,
It could be either, you know what, depression didn't come out in Inside Out. It's too deep.
No, yeah. Like I was like literally. I mean, I was surprised. I wasn't. You know, I was like they didn't say, "Oh, like you also have depression." That wasn't on there. I was like,
Yeah, but
The end scene just like have a little depression come out.
I think
For real.
you develop. I don't know. Depression is like a.
I feel like sadness is depression because
She kinda
sadness
is.
overtakes over and then just down.
Yeah, but sadness is a normal emotion. Like I think you need to cry. Like
But if you suppress it too much, then it turns into a big ball of
True.
sadness.
Yeah.
True. But I mean, Kelly has her own anxiety as well. You know.
Yeah, I did. I had a lot more anxiety like the beginning of college, end of senior year, because of like college. Am I gonna get in or am I not gonna get in? I'm probably not gonna get in. Planning ahead for that, and then when I actually got into college, okay, I need to do my homework, but then I'm like, wait, I need to do this something else, and then I do something else. That's like ADHD thing, but I don't know.
But I think we all have like our own like I said, like we kind of just figure it out a little bit differently. But
Our own little problems. And watching the
phone is
movie,
ringing.
for real. And then watching the movie, you also like start thinking, or at least I started thinking, it's like, who is the one in charge? Who's the main person?
That's what I was saying. Okay, so that's one of my questions. Is like, who do you think is in charge of your consult in your brain? If we were to put ourselves in Riley Inside Out, right? Like, what if we had that in our head? Like, first of all, who would be your top 5? Because obviously as an adult, they all have their top 5. Right?
Oh yeah.
And who would be in control? So that's a question that I have for y'all. See if you know.
Okay, for me, it would be really hard. Okay, so top 5, obviously anxiety is taking the wheel alongside with embarrassment. Both them two team up all the time.
Embarrassment is definitely on yours.
Yeah, I know. I was like, it's him, and then anger, 100% anger. So anxiety, embarrassment, anger, sadness is definitely on there too. But would fear be on there? I don't think it's fear.
I don't think you're fear.
No. I feel.
I fear.
No.
I fear it's not fear.
I think it might be envy.
Would it be envy?
You have. Leon would have envy.
That's
She's
a
up there.
mad shade. She threw it out.
Wow.
Yes.
Would it be no, well.
Nuisance? Wait.
You mean boredom? That's boredom.
Wee wee. But then I don't know I forget. Ennui?
Ennui.
Is it ennui?
And we?
Well, Joe
Wee
calls
wee?
him wee wee.
Yeah, wee.
You think he would be?
She. He.
She? She?
They.
She sounded
Whoops.
like they.
They.
They sounded like a female, but I don't know.
I don't know who your other one would be.
I don't know. That's a little.
Disgust,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Nostalgia.
I feel like disgust is your main one, but.
Yeah, honestly, I was going there. So I feel like disgust, she's the queen, she's in my head, and she's controlling. I feel
Period.
like disgust, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like envy's up there. I don't say that I envy people. I'm just saying like
No, because when you look at it, it's more like. It's not really what envy.
it's to make yourself
Envy is-
better. I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like. It's to you do compare yourself, and I think everyone compares themselves to other people, but not in a bad way. I feel like I do it more as like looking up to like I would like that.
That's what Envy, what she was doing. She was
Yeah,
like,
right?
with the skater, the main girl. She was like,
Looking up to
she was
her.
like, she has red hair. We need to get it. We like we want to be cool like that.
So I think disgust, envy, I think sadness. I'm not gonna lie. I think I do cry a lot. I think anxiety is there. Who would be my last one? Anger, definitely.
Yeah. Nah, he's second in command.
He's yeah. I mean, he's there for sure. I think that would be my top 5.
Okay. Although I'm dressed up as fear, he's not my top. It's anger. Anger's up there. He's
Oh,
in control.
yeah.
He's up there, and I feel like Joy might be up there too.
I think so too. I think with
Anger
you,
and
joy
joy.
is up there for you.
They're both like right there.
I think you're a very happy person.
Yeah, I think you just make her
Doesn't mean she doesn't have stuff behind her. I'm just saying that for the most part, she's a very happy person.
I feel like it's anger, joy. Then it would be sadness. She would be my third. Then I feel like it would be anxiety and fear. They would be the last ones, but they would still be the top ones in there.
I think you are. I don't know. I feel like you could have fear in you because I feel like fear also is like people say fear like you're scared of people. No, I think it's just that you're prepared for a lot of things, and I think you're really prepared. I feel like you're always prepared. You're like the mom of the group
Yeah,
when it comes to things. Like,
and
you
that's
already
anxiety
have-
taking over. You know what?
Anxiety
Fear
and
might
fear.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
anxiety and fear.
Anxiety
Yeah.
and
They're up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because honestly, I'm the type to like overpack, but it's not because. Well, yeah, it's because I overpack, but like
the what ifs.
the what ifs,
Or,
and
like,
the problem
the-
is I've been proven right.
Yeah.
I've been proven right every single time. Everyone's like, oh, it's like, I didn't bring this. Oh, I brought it. It's like, oh, I didn't bring that. I got it. Like,
You know,
I'll whoop it out.
back in high school when we were doing sports, I was the one who was like, I got it.
You need hairspray, gel,
Kelly too. That's why I said
Band-Aids.
Kelly fear. That's a good one because Kelly is also prepared. I'm never prepared. To be honest,
Yeah,
I
I
never.
feel
She
like-
doesn't need to be when she's with us.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I always think I'm like, if I don't have it, Michelle will have it, or Kelly will have
I know.
it. So.
Always.
But like whenever I don't have it, I'm like, oh, I have it in my other bag that you said not to take and I should have taken it.
See,
I
and this
know.
is where envy comes in because I'll see girls literally carrying like a small little purse or whatever. I'm like, I want to do that, but then I'm like, okay, I need to put this in, then I put this in, this in, this in, and then it starts getting
yeah.
big. I'm like, I can't do this.
I think
I
I think everyone has a little bit of envy, and I think none of these emotions are evil or villains or anything like that because we all have these emotions.
Well,
It's
there's a
just-
reason why she's small too.
Yeah, because she's like that small.
she's cute.
Little,
She's teeny tiny.
Oh, she's
Apparently, people have been. I've seen a lot of memes of people comparing her to freaking Jungkook.
Yeah, yeah,
When
I
he
was gonna
has
say
that
that.
hair.
Yes, 100% saw. I was like,
I was like, okay,
he
wait,
wore
I
like
see
a
that.
sweater
Okay.
that was like
Yeah,
near it.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
That's
it was
funny. Okay, I have another question. So, your emotions, or like more, I guess, like a topic, but your emotions and how it stops you from doing daily activities, or how might it stop you from doing daily activities?
I won't go out. Granted, though, my sisters do push me sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to go out, and they're like, just go and I'll be fine. So I go out, and I'm okay. Like, so it wasn't that bad when I'm out there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because we do fairs mostly, since it is coming
Oh,
up
yeah.
next, like
Oh,
in
yeah.
a couple of months. In
Fair
a month.
season. Fair
It's
season
coming.
is actually technically already started in some counties, but for us, it's next month. So
But yeah, that's really hard to get Michelle out. Like,
yeah, because
It's
obviously it
super
has a
hard.
lot of people. Michelle's like really
especially like the county, since
Yeah.
it's like everyone from the county, so everyone in town goes in, and you're like,
even honestly, like we've been going to a lot of concerts recently, and even like concerts is kind of hard with Michelle sometimes. Like, I think Michelle's pushing through it, and I think that she should
continue
continue
push through
to.
it.
I mean, not gonna say. I mean, I'm not saying that this whole podcast is about Michelle, but
She relates a lot.
to like emotions and like mental health and all that. Like, we all have our own mental health. Obviously, like I have my own mental health, and I deal with it however I can. I think my biggest weakness or downfall for my mental health is loneliness. I struggle with that a lot.
She does. And because when she goes back or she's by herself, she does cry. And when I don't call her or I ignore her on a call, she gets very upset.
I started thinking about it. I'm like, am I gonna be that clingy girlfriend?
I know, because like
Maybe.
that happened one time. Like
Maybe.
Danielle had to leave me home like alone for like 2 days. So I was like alone for 2 days. I was just like, woo. My mom called me, Kelly, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing great. How are you? You know, living life over here, cooking, cleaning, organizing my room
Yeah.
a little.
I think though people need to understand that it's not just like a day. Like that was
Yeah.
a day.
That was 2 days.
That was 2 days. Either way, Kelly.
Yeah, I know. It was 2 days.
Compared to 4 years, you get a little trauma from that a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But like
Yeah.
people always say, "Oh my gosh, that's one of my biggest things is like," and I mean no hate on people. I mean no hate on people.
She's
Obviously,
hitting on me.
no. I mean no hate on people who want to like leave home and want to live alone. But sorry if the camera moves a lot. I realize that we're kind of
Oh, sorry. My anxiety's taking over. I'm moving my leg.
Kelly. I mean Michelle.
I'm sorry.
So I feel I obviously don't hate on anybody for wanting this, but like moving out of their house and like living alone. Like people, I think a lot of people our age too. Like obviously, if you have a family and you have kids already, then I'm not.
You're
talking
not
to you,
lonely,
like-
basically.
Yeah,
You don't count.
That's like people who want to move out and like that's great and all, but I feel like people don't realize how hard it is. Like, it's a lot harder than you think. Or maybe there's just people who are stronger than I am. I will admit my downfall is that I don't like being alone. I think all 4 years of like college being alone sucked. I hated it. I feel like that was my biggest factor to my anxiety and my mental health, because when you're alone and you don't have any support, and I'm not saying that my family didn't support me, but it's really hard, and I understand them. And I think that's what makes me really sad, is that I understand that it's not all about me. But we can't have two people crying on this podcast.
Strong.
But when you have two people, or I mean, when you have like when you're at home. Okay, so like when I'm at home and I'm alone, I work like 8 to 4:30, right, every day. Like that's Monday through Friday. That's fine. It takes up most of my day, and that's totally fine. But when I come back home, I go work out with my friend too. I go work out. I go do stuff. But when I come back home, sometimes you need somebody to talk to, right? And like when I have them call me and they're not like listening to what I'm saying, or like maybe they're just not like talking to me at all, like I'm just like, dang, then am I bothering them? Like, is it like, I get that they're tired, but at the same time, it's like, I also want to talk to somebody. So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of hard. I don't blame them at all, obviously, but it is hard. So just.
You're stronger than me. I would have cried already, like
Well,
falling. Anyway, no, but girl, okay, because I mean, not trying to like. Yes, I understand. Like, you know, you want to call that, but the problem is that I always feel like I'm burdening you with my work.
Girl,
That's me.
I know. Like,
That's
I
why
feel
whenever,
bad
like,
because
yeah. So like when we call you and you're like, oh, how's your day? We don't want to talk to you about work, because it's like work.
it's all about hate.
Yeah,
it's all about hate.
Yeah.
We're hating on our work.
And that's fine. I know. I'm like, I don't. It doesn't matter like what you guys talk to me about. I think it's more so like I want someone to talk about. You know, I want someone to talk to me, because like I tell my friends this all the time, but like I talk to myself way too much when I'm alone. That's not normal. That's not right. I talk to myself a lot at home by myself. I feel like that's why I'm like, I hate when people like, is that why I make a lot of TikToks? Maybe. I make a lot of videos. I fake things. I like.
What's wrong with talking to yourself alone?
There's nothing wrong with that, but like, I mean, come on, Kelly. I kind of be looking a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm by myself at home, I don't even have a freaking pet. If I had a pet, maybe I'd feel a little bit better about myself. But like
A fish.
I don't even have a fish. But what if I did? I could talk to the fish. I mean, maybe I can talk to the fish, but like, I don't know. I just think it's obviously like really hard, and like those are struggles that I have with my mental health. So.
See, and the thing is that for you, like being alone is like triggering and all that. And for me, I don't mind being alone, but then it's a thought of I have to go do like everything, like talking to people. That's the thing. It's like I don't mind being alone, but then I have to go talk to a stranger. That's just me. And for you, I get it because you're by yourself, and not only that, in the area that you are and all that, like it's sketchy. There's some sketchy people out there. Like
Everywhere.
it is. I wouldn't blame you for being like, you know, a little traumatized to say, oh, what if something happens? Who are you going to go to? And I understand why you're always like a little like scared and all that too. Like
Anxious. I feel like I have a little bit of paranoia a little bit sometimes when I'm home alone. Actually, a lot of the time when I'm home alone. I have a lot of paranoia, or I'm paranoid a lot because like obviously I'm in a house by myself. Like I don't know what will happen. Like what if somebody breaks in? I don't know. Like I'm goner. I'm dead. There's no way.
Now I'll be there.
Well, yeah. So the point with this, before me getting emotional, was that Michelle is gonna be spending a day alone too soon. So we will all soon be very close together, and we'll have more podcasts hopefully to talk about and stuff. And I won't be as lonely anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, and then give you an update on the next podcast about what goes on with our mental health or whatever. But
Our life.
Yeah.
What's going on?
our life, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to talk about mental health, but
It's
think-
very important.
I think it's something very important that people don't talk about a lot. And I think May was Mental Health Awareness Month, even though we're in June, but we were a little behind. But it's something that I've always wanted to talk about on the podcast because I feel like people relate a lot to maybe just not like us in general, but maybe just like, and it's hard to put things like this out on the internet because I feel like people then judge you. And I really hope that people don't judge for what we say because
Yeah, look in a mirror. Look at yourself.
Kelly coming out for people.
No, but it's true though, because like a lot of people I talk to have, strangely enough, have talked about their health, and it's not even just anxiety. It's literally other things I've never heard of either. You know, like
you never know, and that's another thing
Yeah.
I always tell Michelle, like, you never know what's going on with them. You never know. That's why I don't think I always tell Michelle and Kelly, like, don't ever judge anybody, because you never know what's going on with them. They could be the happiest person, but you don't know.
right.
Like, I think people also think things about us, and like think that like we're all, and I'm not saying we're all bad, like we have all like,
I mean,
we're all
people think
sad
I'm a
and
grouch,
bad.
but there's a reason.
Yeah,
Now you know.
Not like that. Like, I think that people need to understand that there's obviously more behind somebody, and when it comes to stuff like that, so never judge people and never say anything. But yeah, like, I hope that people don't judge us for like putting things out there, because
Yeah,
obviously this
for
isn't
real.
to like, so you can go and say like so and so suffers from this and that, or like, because like people are who they, like, that's how
That's
people are.
envy, and she's in control.
No, because there are people like that. It's like, si escuchaste, it's like the persona que tiene que mirar, like, and then they'll just be talking. I'm just like, no.
And it's just like, that's not what this is about. Like, obviously this is just to like desahogarse someone, and say what, because people relate. There are a lot of people who relate, and it's just good to talk about it, and to to know, people like should know, like, it's like Michelle doesn't just not go out just because she doesn't go out. Like, maybe
Yeah.
if you would have sat down and asked her, or maybe if you would have like actually like comprehend or understand why somebody doesn't go out, or why somebody goes home every weekend, or like does something to not be alone, or
Yeah.
Or
for
take
real.
the time to ask me, like, okay, so what exactly do you feel then? And it's like, why? Not just be like, so why? It's just people. Don't just try to make up your own excuse of like, it's just this. There's more to it.
And I
Yeah.
think it goes back to like what I said, like, you're being selfish. Stop being selfish about something when somebody doesn't want to do something. Maybe ask like, are you okay? Like, oh, hey, if you don't want to, that's okay. I always say that whenever I hang out with somebody, like, hey, do you want to go do this? If not, that's totally okay. Just let me know. That's fine. I understand if you don't want to do that, but let me know. Like, don't make up some dumb excuse and say like no. Like that's fine. Like, and usually I feel like when it comes to that, like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like with some people I'll be like, I'll make up an excuse, but because I feel like I don't feel comfortable enough telling you, like, I just can't do it today. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's when it comes to like being able to understand somebody, because then you're gonna get that. You're gonna get the excuses. You're gonna get the lies. And then that's when things go wrong. You
Right.
know.
Or sometimes it's not like I don't want to hang out, but maybe the activity that we were planning on doing, I
Right.
just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like, like sometimes I like just being home. Like, do you mind coming over? We can make something. We don't have to go out to like, at a big event. I don't mind coming here, walk to the park, do different things,
Yeah, don't assume.
Yeah. Don't
Like-
assume.
Like what Michelle said, don't assume she's a grouch because she doesn't want to go out, but she has social
Yeah.
anxiety.
But the
Don't
thing is
assume
also,
Daniela is like envious of people because she just doesn't like you or something. I don't know.
but people are just, and it's just like, people don't really understand. Like, I feel like the younger, our generations are more understanding now. Like, they get it. They start getting it. It's just like, older people, more like, way older people
I mean,
don't
they're
get
close
it.
to death, so.
Kelly's just
Kelly's
at-
throwing shade. I feel like also people. I think it's funny that Kelly. I feel like Kelly think. People think that Kelly's like. I don't know. I don't even know what people think, but I just think it's funny how Kelly is literally the person that will throw the biggest shade to you.
Oh, 100%.
Well, because like at work, people are like, "Oh my gosh, she's so quiet. She like doesn't talk to anybody." But if you know me, they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's so happy." But in reality, I'm really aggressively angry. That's why I did sports.
probably why
she
anger
is
is
like the
controlling
biggest
her.
hater.
Kelly's the biggest hater. What's that one song? It's like, "Hey, the biggest hater." It's Kendrick, maybe.
Oh yeah.
You guys know that.
The hate the way you talk, hate the way you walk, or something. I don't know.
That song's pretty catchy. But anyway, yeah. So honestly, that song is good. I was kidding. I'm kidding, but yeah.
I like that audio from TikTok. Look at that eating chicken. Yeah.
Can we just say a praise to Kelly's costume? Because her
Yeah, she went all out. Look at her.
She looks so cute.
Adorable.
Yeah, I think Kelly did such a good job. Oh, Kelly's so creative too.
Yay. I've lost it. I used to be creative, not anymore.
I sucked it out of you.
Building
I sucked
anxiety.
it out of you.
For real, you did.
Yeah.
I'm like Ursula. Give me that.
Emotionally draining.
For real, that's
That you're
I know.
emotionally draining her, bro.
No, I get emotionally drained a lot. Yet whenever people see me like, oh my gosh. So my old job that I worked at, they were always like, this one girl, she would always be like, you always seem so happy. How do you have so much energy? I'm like, it's all a lie. It's a mask. And she was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you think I want to be here? And she was like, oh, and I'm like, I hate it here. I like money. I like money. I hate it here. I hate you. I hate everybody. But I'm just here putting on a mask and be like, hi, what can I get for you today? You know?
And I feel like some people need that. Some people need to put a mask on. Like, don't be a... We all know you hate your job, okay? But don't put that on people, on customers. Like,
Yeah.
like some people
Whatever
really need
job
to
you-
learn.
Yeah.
Like, it's just every job has its good and bads, obviously. And I know that like sometimes it's a temporary thing. Like you're obviously not gonna be there forever. You're trying to achieve bigger, you're trying to go somewhere else. But like in the meantime, don't ruin it for other people, customers especially. Like your customer service needs to bounce up just a little bit.
Yeah. Like at Walmart. Had beef with the worker.
Kelly almost threw some hands at Walmart.
I almost did. And I was just like, I'm sorry, but did I stutter? There was a sign that said the price.
Dude, anyway, Kelly cracks me up. She'll say anything. It just surprises me how she will just say, so watch out, everyone. If you make Kelly mad, she will come after you.
Oh yeah.
She
I
comes
came
after
after-
us too. People say, oh my God, people always assume that Kelly's like super sweet or whatever. Like my friends too. Like I know my friend Naomi obviously always says stuff about Kelly. I'm like, don't let her fool you. She will come after me all the time. Actually, us in general. Kelly will backstab me. She'll throw me under the bus. I bet she would.
She would.
Just to save herself.
No, I wouldn't.
I see her doing that. I will never leave my hands in my life in Kelly's hands.
Nope.
I mean, I'll throw you under there, but if there's someone else to throw, I'll throw them.
Kelly's like, you're my like,
You know, it's like,
if I had to.
and then there's no one else. You know,
Yep.
survival of the fittest.
Yeah, obviously that's how your mind works. Please. It's you or someone else that you're picking
Yeah,
you.
for real.
I love that for you though, Kelly. It's always you. You always got to choose you.
Yeah, that means I don't have to worry about you. I just have to worry about me.
Oh my gosh, like when we were in Korea, she did that all the time. That girl left me. I could have been kidnapped.
I could never.
And I'm her older sister. I want y'all to know. I am older.
I know.
3 years older. And yet this girl would leave me.
No, not me. I'm over here. It's like, Kelly, get over here. Kelly, get over here. Like, I'll be wandering around. Kelly, let's go.
Like, yeah.
And sometimes we will lose her.
But I'll manage. I'll find them back again.
Always. Like, when were we? Where were we at? Yesterday? She left.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. She left us all the time. I didn't even know where she went.
Oh yeah, we
At
were
Party City.
Yeah, we were at Party City, and then
That's where we got the stuff.
I would walk around and I would hear them talking, and I'm just like behind them, and all of a sudden
She
I
probably
was
out of
like,
nowhere.
Kelly, where'd you go? And I'm like, I went walking around. I came back.
I don't.
Target too.
Yeah, she
Oh,
left us
yeah.
on Target too. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll find you. I'll find you again.
Yeah, but we won't find you, Kelly. I need you to understand that. Where sometimes we are a little bit responsible for you. You know.
Yeah, and
Well, I
then we'll
don't
get the
even-
blame.
Yeah, we'll get the blame for her wandering off. But
I'm a wanderer.
I'm pretty sure every older sibling out there can relate.
oh my God, I saw that TikTok. Did you see that? I sent it to you guys.
You
It's
scared? You got scared?
Sorry,
I was like, what TikTok?
I sent a lot of TikToks.
I haven't
never
seen
look at
any
it.
today, so.
Yeah.
But it's like I think there's two. One about like siblings, like about the funeral thing.
I did. I've seen that a lot. I'm just
yeah.
like, oh.
dang.
I'm going first.
How'd you know? Like, you know,
With that could not always
forbid
be true.
the universe
yeah.
or like God forbid that like
No,
something
you know what?
happens and like say I'm there and then I'm like, what?
Okay, so like the TikTok was, you know, like there's always that one out of the siblings, there's always one that's gonna attend to everybody's funeral, and then there's always the other sibling that's no one's gonna attend their funeral. But I remember seeing this one TikTok of this one mom, and I go out for that mom, poor mom. She lost like all 5 of her kids in a house fire. 5 of her kids. 2, well, I think like one was 10. One was 8. The other one was like 6, 3, and a couple months old.
Oh, so sad.
And I'm just like, yeesh. I could never. I would be going to. Like, no. If I were a mother, there's nothing keeping me. If it's all 5 of my kids, no,
Yeah.
I'm going.
all at once.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when I saw that, and I was like, I think this kind of goes back to what you were saying. Like, we don't know. Like, okay, that TikTok, yeah, granted, that is something to think about, but like, that is if we kind of pass away in that order. You know what I
Very true.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
like you never know.
you know,
Forbid.
hopefully not, but yeah,
Knock on wood.
that was a sad one. Yeah.
Where's the wood?
There was another TikTok too about siblings. I can't remember. Something about older siblings. I can't remember it though.
Did you see that one TikTok about younger siblings though?
Which one?
The one that's like the younger one is always like positive and everything, yet like when they're with the oldest always gets mad, and you're just like, why are you always mad at me, kind of situation.
Oh.
You got away with everything. That's why.
I do remember seeing that one.
Yeah.
Only sometimes. But yeah.
Because you get away with everything. That's why. You never got the butt whoopings.
Oh my lord. Okay. Okay, so I guess that's pretty much it. That's all we really have to say about Inside Out and our emotions, mental health, all that. You know, we'll come back next week with another episode. But I think that's it for today's, unless you guys want to add anything else.
No,
I
that's
think
it.
we said all of what we needed to say. But yeah, well, like I said, we'll hopefully be back on track now. Another episode next week. I will say before I let Kelly end it, because she's the ender, but
Yes.
I
been a
will
while.
say we do have 2 vlogs up, so please go check them out. They are super. If you want to see us out of our shell, out of these like original seats that we see all the time, where we sit in front of a mic and we just start talking to you. We have 2 vlogs. One of them is our P1 Harmony concert vlog, so you can join us in our experience for P1 Harmony. Loved that. It was definitely a ride. And also our Reno experience when we went to Reno, Nevada. That was definitely a video you should definitely go watch, because
My poor anxiety.
that's where Michelle's anxiety kicked in.
Yeah.
Quite a few. But yeah, go watch that. Have fun. I mean, just like, it's cute little videos. We'll be doing some other vlogs, obviously, as our things go on, but we'll do more podcasts. We came back from our little break. But yeah, so I'll let Kelly take it away.
Yeah. So don't forget to follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, and follow our podcast, Apple Podcasts, right? And then Spotify also too.
Yep, all the links are below.
Yes. Sorry, it's been a while. I can't remember everything, but
It's okay.
thank you for watching, sisters.
Talk.
Chisme.
Bye.